So let's talk tonight. Let's see. Do I want to go this way? Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. We're going to do something tonight that's called the tick-tock technique. And I'm not going to go in too deeply. I hope I don't start it and have to leave you in a bad place. But that would be good for you too, because that'll make you want to sign up so that we can make sure that you prosper. We're going to do something tonight called the tick-tock technique. I'm waiting for y'all to post it so I can put it on the screen. Tick, T-I-C, tock technique. Hallelujah. Tick, tock technique. So by now, through all of our discussions, y'all should be very well aware of the fact that when you procrastinate, somebody type the word procrastinate, you're going to type it up and you're going to say, I'm melting. It's going to just feel so horrible to you. But go ahead and type it out. Procrastinate. Guess I need an allergy pill. Tick-tock technique. Yep. Now I want you to type the word procrastinate. It's what we done. We don't want to do it no more. So we're going to confront it. Welcome, Suzette. All right. By now, you should be well aware of the fact that when you procrastinate, isn't that how the word sounds? Just like, that when you procrastinate, you give yourself negative messages that upset you. Are you aware of that? Let me see hands. Hey, Tara. Let me see hands. Are you aware now that when you procrastinate, you give yourself negative messages that upset you? Remember our friend here, our case study, Michael? Because he procrastinated, he had all kind of nasty stuff coming up, didn't he? I mean, he even started attacking his wife because of his own issue, something he agreed to do. Procrastination, such an ugly, ugly thing. He started having thoughts like, it's really too late to get started. I'm tired. Tomorrow will be a better day. The negative thought, all the thoughts started coming to maintain the mindset of procrastination. It's really late and you can get much more done on another day. This was the best one, right? That would only be a drop in the bucket if you did anything anyway. Besides, it will be cold and dark out there. You're all tired out, and it will be more fun to have a beer and watch a little TV. There may be a good game on. You can't wait until a long weekend to do the garage. Then you can get a whole lot done. And then the devil's advocate voice comes back on and says, yeah, and by the way, your wife is a real nag, and she doesn't seem to appreciate you very much. If you have a couple of beers, you won't mind so much. Why should you break your butt for her? And remember that negative thought again? Yeah. And you know what? You shouldn't have to clean the garage just to have sex with your wife. After all, you slave away 60 hours a week at the office, and all she does is gripe at you when you get home. You deserve better. The garage can wait for a better day. So I'll read that opening statement again for tonight. By now, you should be well aware of the fact that when you procrastinate, you give yourself negative messages that upset you. They are called tics. T-I-C. T-I-C. They're called tics. They are called tick. And I think he wanted, yeah, he did want a little thing. Oh my God. Ebony text you again?
No, Maria.
No, Maria. These women are awesome. Thank you, sweetie. Yep. Look at you guys. Go ahead. Rock that out. Thank you, sweetheart. You can say hi since you did all that work for me.
Hi.
Get in the tub. Here you go. They're called tics. T-I-C. Tics. Very good, Katrina. Just went off my screen. It goes by so fast. When you procrastinate, you give yourself negative messages that affect you. And it's called tics. Tics. What are tics? They are called tics or task interfering cognitions. Let me help you out with that one. Who think they can get it up there? Task interference cognitions. Or interfering. T-I-C. Come on, y'all, work that out. Task interfering cognitions. Tics. Nice little catchy name, right? Because it probably does feel like a tic. Yes. They're called tics, or they're known as, that was the acronym, they're known as task interfering cognitions. A tic is just a negative thought with a cute name. See how psychologically deep we can make it? It's a negative thought. What did we say last night? Bullied by negative thoughts. Go ahead. Look at y'all up here. Making me so proud. Write some of your own tics on a form, then identify the distortions in these tics using a checklist. Finally, write tocs in the right-hand column of the tic-toc form. Getting deep now. Or task-oriented cognition. I'm going to put it up here for you. Oriented cognition. Can't even see with this new prescription. That's the TOC. Task oriented. Oh, y'all moving good. Okay. Good job. Task oriented cognition is the TOC. Look at this. Let me get this up here. And the tic is the what? Do I need to tell y'all? Task interference cognition. And the other side of the paper, you're going to write down the TOC, task-oriented cognition. What is all of this stuff? It's showing that you do have control over the destination of your mind. So if you got your piece of paper out, grab something. Sylvia, you need me to look in your house and see where I can find it for you? You're a writer and a reader. You're astute, Sylvia, so I know you have it there. So on one side of your paper, you're going to write tic. Very good, Ebony. Thank you. You're going to write tic. T-I-C. And you know what that stands for now. Task interfering cognitions. It's thoughts that interfere with your brain. Thoughts that interfere with your thinking. And then in the middle column, you're going to write distortions. Distortions. Yeah. So first column, tics, T-I-C. The middle column, you're going to write distortions. And in the last column, you're going to write TOC, T-O-C. That are the task-oriented cognition. Tic-toc. Good. Looks like y'all getting it. Okay. So now we're going to have to identify now the distortions in the middle column. Distortions. Remember those? I want to go back to them so bad because I love them. And I've been really, really applying this to my life. And it's even taking me to an automatic level. Let me give you a personal testimony because I have a testimony. Let me give you a personal testimony. The other day I was having some thoughts and it might have been coming from a place of perfectionism. And then I felt the weight of it just overwhelming me. And I learned that how my tic-tocs work is a thought will come and it will be processed until it overwhelms me. And once I'm overwhelmed, it causes me to shut down and maybe not procrastinate anymore like I did before I was therapyized through this. It can delay. It can delay me because I'm trying to work out all the things that I want to do and how I want to do them. But this was so great. This is how I'm a first partaker of what I teach and what I believe in. Automatically, an automatic thought came in. But guess what? It was a positive automatic thought. A negative thought did not come in and usurp the authority of the mindset that I have now. An automatic thought came in within 5 minutes, guys. It probably was even 3 minutes. All of this was going on in my mind. The thought came, the processes of thoughts came with it. And then the overwhelming came. And I even saw my physical self. I was straightening up my room. I saw my physical body just sit down on the edge of the bed because the thought came and everything just started bombarding the thought. And then I felt myself being overwhelmed in my mind. And my physical body sat down under the emotional weight of thoughts. I wish I had that statement in my book. My physical body became overtaken, overweighted by the emotional weight of my thoughts. And this all happened in, I just want to tell the truth. It had to be 3 to 5 minutes. I really don't know exactly, but it overtook me. And all of this conversation and activity was going on in my mind. While I'm cleaning, while I'm quiet, nobody's talking. I'm gathering my thoughts together, straightening some things out. And all of a sudden, I felt my body sit down while I had some shirts in my hand that I was folding. And I was like, and that's what caught my attention. I was like, why did I just sit down in the middle of this? And I realized that there was a barrage of thoughts coming. And the weight of the emotional thoughts made my body sit down under the weight of the emotions of the thoughts. But all of a sudden, a positive thought came, boop, and I was filed that where it needed to be filed. I got back up and finished the work. And a few minutes later, I realized, I was like, ooh, it's working. It's become automatic now. Instead of the thoughts being negative that might have wiped me out from cleaning up the rest of the room, I kept moving and grooving, and I got it all done. And I didn't have to consciously make an effort to say, oh, God, where's my event log? Where's my event log? Okay, here's the event. Here's the issue. This is what I'm feeling. Come on, because y'all know we have lots of papers for the feelings. We only had a choice of 13 feelings, and we done filled up pages. And now the distortions, labeling, blaming, catastrophe, overgeneralizing, labeling, personalizing, all of these things. Nope, not this time. It was an automatic process. Good. It was an automatic process. The thought came in. The other thoughts came in to rattle it. The weight of the emotional processes made my physical body sit down under it. And then a new automatic thought came. I recognized all this had gone on in my mind. Nobody outside would have known this. I got right back up and was able to finish what I was working on. It's working. I want you guys to look out for that. I want you to have such a self-awareness of yourself that you're able to say, oh my God, that was a positive automatic thought. I was able, without making myself write out a log anymore, I was able to see the process of determining the destination of my mind. I was able to see it happen automatically. But right now, we still got to write it out and write it out. I did it, guys. I had to do this for 2 years when I went through my healing and deliverance. 2 years it took me. Took me more than that, but to just get through my mind, because I deal with a lot of psychological warfare. The enemy likes to always tell me that I don't know something, that it's not God, that it's not true. And when you have people around you that support those enemies' voices against you, you got to know who you are. because God, the enemy will use people to take you out. The enemy will use your loved ones to take you out, always making you feel crazy, always making you second guess yourself, always making you feel insecure. That's why before your ministry is launched, before your business is launched, before you get involved in another relationship, we have to get you to a level of functioning self-esteem. We have to get you to a level where you are able to highly esteem yourself, because you can get talked out of your calling. You can get talked out of your gifting. And if those around you do not know the voice of God like they need to know the voice of God, they can actually be a devil's advocate and working against the call of God that's on your life. And it's a constant barraging. You got to know who you are. So it's important for me to have you to love yourself and to highly esteem yourself so that you know who you are. I'm trying to read your comments, but I just had to share that today. That was powerful for me. It was mighty powerful for me. So we have our form now, and we have our tick-tock form. In the left column, we have a tick. In the center column, we have distortion. And on the right column, we have tox. So let's deal with this first. The first thing we want to deal with is the tick. Okay? So what is the tick that we're dealing with? I'm so glad that you asked. This is the example that we're going to use tonight. There's so much to study, I'll never learn it all. Ooh, is this talking to y'all tonight? There's so much to study, I'll never learn it all. You are welcome. I do not have a problem being vulnerable. I was looking at a very interesting program today about a psychiatrist, and she was one of the first women who, oh, I adore you, Suzette. She was one of the first psychiatrists that began to notice that everyone who is, she did the Ted Bundys, and she did the Arthur Shawcross cases. She did, I forget these serial killers. So what happened was she got her licensing, her degree, her licensing. She opened up her practice. Just bear with me for a minute. We're going to get back to it, and it's going to make sense. And she was assigned to a detention center, and she had children in her detention center from the ages of 12 to 17 years of age. And she began to see patterns in them, that some of them had stabbed their parents. Some of them had killed animals in the family's pets. Some of them had hurt their sisters, accosted their family members. They were very, very sick serial killers, sociopaths. And I'm going to have y'all watch it one night. It's really, really interesting. But you got to have the mind for it. If you don't, let me just tell you the pieces of it and move on. So she began to realize that they all had something in common. And what they had in common was they were abused by their parents. So she began to do the work and the study to find out that most crimes that are committed by young people, 12 to 17 years of age, were committed by children who were formerly abused when they should have been getting loved and nurtured and emotional support and affirming and someone to hear them. And because they didn't get that, they turned out to be sociopaths, murderers, serial killers, very, very sick. She had the worst cases. Oh my God, hang on. So as she wrote an article in the American Medical Association, I forget the name of the lady. She's still a news reporter today. Doesn't really matter. She read her article, and she called her on the news station to interview her. And when she interviewed her, she began to find out that there was a lot of connections to this childhood abuse, and also not just physical or sexual abuse, but where it was emotional abuse, where it was emotional neglect, with parents withholding their leadership from their children. Isn't that something? I've taught this for a few years in the Apostles' House, that when you withhold your leadership from the people that God has given you, that is abuse. When a parent withholds their leadership from their children, it is abuse. When a parent withholds their love from their children, it is abuse. When the parent withholds the support, the affirming love, the emotional support, it is abuse. It is abuse. And it shows up in these children. This woman, it was almost like she was on an apostolic call, though she didn't believe in God at all. And part of her paper was to refute the fact that it was evil, that evil did not roam the earth, that there was a pathology to all of this more than it was a spirituality to it. So I could still work with her. We could still flow because I like where she was going. So long story short, you can tell I just love this stuff, right? Someone saw her interview with Diane Sawyer, and he called her up, and he had a young kid who was on trial, and he had killed his father, I think, with some scissors or something. And they were in Florida or Texas, where they actually support the death penalty. And they wanted to actually give this kid the death penalty. So they asked her if she really believed in what she was teaching. Had she studied it? And she showed that she did. She showed all the studies that she had done on it. So they asked for her medical opinion on this particular case. She ends up hooking up with a neurologist. And I worked for a neurologist for 17 years, very interesting field as well. So he was taking x-rays and or asking for x-rays and MRIs on the brains of these people who were able to kill. Before the results came back, they were trying to understand what was the difference between a Hitler, a serial killer, and one of us. What was the difference? What was the crossing line that would make someone become a Hitler? Was it possible that all of us had in us the possibility to become a Hitler or a sociopath or a serial killer? And it basically comes down to the fact is, yes, it's in all of us, which for me, because she doesn't know the Bible, she didn't know she was preaching Bible all up in that lesson because God set it forth in the beginning for children. He told parents what their job description was with their children, what their role was with their children. So like Corinthus is saying, the brain rewires itself when it doesn't get the emotional support, when it doesn't get the emotional love, the affirmation, the leadership, the correction, and the discipline. Not physical abuse, but the correction and the discipline. If you are a leader, your members need your leadership. They need your love, your support, but they need your correction and they need your rebuke as well. It all goes together to raise a healthy, functioning individual. We cannot enable people because we are passive and think that we're showing love to them. So as time went on, they ended up calling her for these bigger cases, the Ted Bundys, the Sam, whatever he was, and Arthur Shawcross. And they found out that these guys were all abused, all of them by their mother. How much the role is in a man's life to turn him into a monster by withholding her support. And then some of these guys were sexually abused by their moms. Sexually abused by their mom. And there was a couple of girls who were molested through sodomy by their dad. And they ended up kidnapping some of their friends and doing to their friends what was done to them, which comes forth the statement that we all like to say, hurt people hurt people. We use it in simple ways. Oh, she hurt my feelings because she's hurt and broken. But there's a really deep psychological side to it, that people who have been hurt, traumatized, abused, end up hurting people the same way. So she could tell by the nature of their crime, the case that they had, of what was actually done to them. It took years. She was very apostolic in her call because she was the trailblazer on this. So she got talked about. They made songs about her saying how she wants to save the serial killers. The radio stations they just defamed her name. They attacked her work. Judges put her off on the witness stand. Prosecutors attacked her on the witness stand because they did not want to believe that people were not just evil. And she determined that when she hooked up with this neurologist, she ended up getting a whole team in the end. I mean, God blessed her with a 5-fold team, y'all. I saw the Bible in her story, even though she's not a believer. And she ended up getting with a neuroscientist, a neuropsychologist, a neurologist. She herself was a psychiatrist, and they were doing CAT scans and MRIs on the brains of people who were neglected from emotional support, then those from physical support, then those who were physically abused, then those who were emotionally abused, and then those who were sexually abused by parents or someone in the household. And they saw spots on the brain. And she was able to then start saving the lives of some of these people, because she said only in America, especially in Texas and Florida, do we kill our mental challenged society. No other country was killing their mentally insane. And she taught about the difference between crazy and insane, and that there's a difference. And she was able to help some. Some people were actually showed up at the end. They were still in the prison, but she was going back to see them, to see how they were doing. And they were grateful that she saved their lives, and they told their stories. My God, y'all. My God, y'all. The stories were horrific. Horrific, which for me as a believer in heaven and hell, in another world, the spiritual world, I couldn't see nothing but evil in it. Because even though she dealt with the case of what was going on, yes, Anna, I'll text it to you. Text me after we're done. I'll text it to you. It'll go with your training. She, even though she wasn't a believer, the evil had to start from somewhere. This thought, it was not natural for us to think, even in our fallen nature, it really wasn't so natural for us to think of the sicknesses. I mean, I wish we wasn't on a live, and I wish we were in a room where I was training coaches, because I would tell you some of the stories of what some of these parents did to these children, and they created monsters. Monsters. And I do believe in evil. She didn't make her case for that, but it just confirmed mine more and more and more. So what is the purpose? And what I'm telling you all this for is because she had to take the time to go through the automatic thoughts of all of them in order to backtrack to find out what was the feelings that went with it. Because feelings would dictate your thoughts. Thoughts dictate behaviors. Feelings, when you start feeling, so that's why you got to watch those feelings. Once the feeling starts, they start dictating your thoughts. You start assuming, you start blaming, you start labeling. And then once the feelings kick in, the thoughts go on automatic pilot, the behavior starts to display exactly what's going on. And that's what was going on with them. And that's why we are able to learn tonight. And it's such an honor to be able to learn tonight about controlling the destination of my mind. We're not little children on here who've been abused. We're adults now. So we can think with some rationale. We can come to the table and say, I need help in this area. My parents, I love them dearly, and I don't want to speak badly of my parents, but I don't feel that I got the love that I needed. And y'all, y'all that are parents on here tonight, you can probably even confess, sometimes you don't even know what the love is that your children need. We can miss the place and the point without even meaning to. Really good parents, the best parents we're able to be, but we're not able to give them what they need because sometimes we just don't know. So we're adults on here tonight, and we can fix this problem. We can fix this problem so that it could be fixed in our generation. We can fix this problem so that we could minister to a community. We could minister to a country. We could minister to a globe. We can minister to others. You can control your thoughts. Stop saying that's just how I am. Stop saying this is how the women are in our family. This is how the men are in our family. You're glorifying generational curses. You're glorifying generational behaviors and attitudes. It is not true. And that is a very big lie from the pit of hell. So in this column, tics, distortions, and tox. In the tick column, what we're dealing with tonight is there's so much to study, I'll never learn it all. That's our topic example for tonight. And I'm sure a lot of y'all on here tonight are studying up some things. Yes, very good. Reading your comments. Very good. Okay, next, Identify your distortions in the middle column. Next, identify your distortion. So the tick, there's so much to study, I'll never learn it all. And that's perfect for me because I can even say, there's so much information. How will I ever finish this book? So the distortion column will have something in it now like all or nothing thinking, mental filter, fortune telling, magnification, emotional reasoning, should statements. These are all the distortions that we're going through when we start to think there's so much to study, I'll never learn it all. There's so much to study, I'll never learn it all. And then here comes the distortions. And what do they sound like? All of nothing thinking, terrible mental filter, fortune telling, magnification, emotional reasoning, should statements. Finally, we're going to enter in our top column, which is the far right column. Here we go. I don't have to learn it all, but if I study for 15 minutes, that would be a good start. In any 15-minute period, I only have to learn 15 minutes worth of material. So for me, again, my tick would be, I have so much information. How will I ever finish this book? All the thoughts that are barraging me, they're all of nothing. If I can't get it all in this book, then I'm not going to finish this book. The mental filtering, the fortune telling, I'll never finish this book. The magnification, I'm overwhelmed because it's so much information that I want to get in this book. The emotional reasoning, because it's overwhelming, this is not time right now. Let me speak to the Christian, because if God wanted me to do this, he wouldn't have me feeling like this. God doesn't have you feeling like this. He doesn't. You're dealing with a fallen nature and you've got some work to do. God doesn't have you feeling like this. Just because you're overwhelmed, don't blame it on God. Just because you can't sort your thoughts out, don't blame it on God. If God wanted me to do it, God would make a way. He made a way. The idea is there. The support is there. I get so burned in my spirit when I hear Christians say, well, if God wanted me to do it, he wants you to do it. He wants you to do it. Now do it. Get the help that you need. All right. Karen did her first mic drop tonight. It burns me up when Christians use God as an excuse instead of having God as a reason. We are saved, born again. Salvation is ours. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. He told us to go take dominion. He told us to go and populate. He told us that he gave us the tools necessary to get wealth. He told us that we are the head and not the tail. But yet, if something gets hard for us, or we have a barrage of thoughts, the first thing we want to say is, God must not want me to do it because God would make a way for me to do it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He's packaged in you everything that you need. Now what you need to do is get the help, use the resources necessary so you can get the assignment done. Get the assignment done. Get a coach, get a minister, get a friend, get a book coach, get a career coach, get some mental health coaching like you're doing for these 30 days. He's giving you everything. Just get the resources now to help you. So in my top column, this is my reasonable thought. And we talked about the reasonable thoughts. God is not an excuse, but the reason. Absolutely. He said, I'm not going to help you avoid troubled waters. I am the God who would take you through the troubled waters. We don't have a right to use excuses because we're in God. And stop using the devil for an excuse too, because he's already been put under our feet. Get the help you need. There's resources. Your church is a community. You should have a network of community people on here now to encourage you and to keep you into the direction that God has called you to. You've done a lot of work in 20 days. Today's the 20th day, guys. We have 10 days left. 10 days left. I don't have to learn it all. So for me, I don't have to write it all. But if I do 15 minutes, that would be a good start, Suzanne, because I talk to myself with my name. Do y'all do that? In any 15-minute period, all I have to do is get 15 minutes worth of thought out. 15 minutes worth of material is done. You see the help? It's tight, but it's right. Mm-hmm. We get born again. We're supposed to be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. And every tongue that rises up against us, we have the power and authority to condemn. But God must not want me to do it. Oh, it's just too much warfare on this thing. Stop the isolation. Come out from among them. Get the resources that you need. We're here. We're here no matter what the issue is. If we only can lead you in the right direction, if we can only connect you in the right direction of help, we are a resource for you from this day forward until death do us part. We are here for you to see you succeed. This is a ministry marketplace extension of prosperity. I don't have time to be jealous or insecure about who God has called you to be. I have been called to uproot the things that hinder the people in this earth from fulfilling their God-given mandate and their destiny. Your destiny excites me. Your mandate excites me. I see the picture random. We all win. So we're a resource for you for the rest of your days. Get the help you need. Connect with people who can connect you to the people that you need to get the help. But stop blaming the devil. Stop blaming God. I'll say it again. Stop blaming the devil. Stop using God as an excuse. God is not an excuse, but he's a reason to do. You are the head and not the tail. You are above only, some translations say, and not beneath. And no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Did you hear that? No weapon. So start working on the weapons that are internal inside of you. And then any words, let me just do a translation. Any words that rise against you, any automatic thoughts that rise against you, any negative thoughts that rise against you, you have the power and the authority to condemn. Do you see that scripture? You have the power and the authority to condemn. There's your text right there for your cliche. I can determine the destination of my mind. Every tongue that rises against you, every negative thought, invisible, visibly, every tongue that rises against you, you have the authority to condemn. Come on, y'all, look up that scripture and read that self. Write that on one of your automatic log forms. Write it on one of them automatic log forms and take control of your destiny. Now, you can try this on your own. I'll post an example tonight if you need it. But just for the case of doing this virtually, I would really choose that you just stick with the daily log for now. I don't want you to get overwhelmed when you're working by yourself. It is easy to get overwhelmed and then procrastinate when you're working alone. If you stick with us and get coaches, then we would actually start working the TikTok form as well. But just for tonight, I want you to know that there's other resources and helps for you. And they're here. Little steps for big feats. F-E-A-T-S. Little steps for big feats. F-E-A-T-S. Not like feet on the bottom here. One of the secrets of people who are highly productive is that they've really tried to tackle a difficult job all at once. One of the secrets of people who are highly productive is that they rarely try to tackle a difficult job all at once. They break the task down into small compartments and do one small step at a time. Instead, they break the task down into small component parts and do one small step at a time. Almost done here tonight. There are two ways to break a task into small steps. One solution is simply to work for relatively brief periods of time, such as the example we just gave, 15 minutes. The rationale is that it's relatively easy to do something if you know you can quit after 15 minutes. So everyone who has something, I want you to write down what it is that you need to conquer. I want you to write that list down. Everything that you want to do. I want to get the car to the car wash. I want to get the oil change. I want to clean the bedroom. I want to start getting all of my old winter clothes out, and I want to start getting rid of spring clothes because spring is around the corner now. I want to paint my bathroom. I want you to write it all down. Write it, write it, write it. That's the first step for procrastinators. You have to write it. Okay. And then the second step, once it's written, start breaking things down in brief periods of time. Let's start with 15 minutes. I'm going to paint for 15 minutes. Make yourself stop, because another double-edged sword is once you start, you get overwhelmed and you can't stop. And then you're down for about another 6 months again. We don't want to do that. We're going to start with 15 minutes and you're going to stop, period. Because the rationale here is, remember we talked about the reward system? The rationale here is that it's relatively easy to do something if you know you can quit after 15 minutes. Of course, once you get started, you will often get in the mood and end up doing the whole thing. Many procrastinators stubbornly resist this simple plan, even though it is fabulously effective. I want you, for your soul work tonight, because you got to finish your devil's advocate, and then you've got to do this. List 3 excuses you could give yourself for refusing to do your assignment. And then I want you to take one assignment, break it into 15-minute chunks, and I want you to journal it out. 15-minute towards anything. You know, like I said, painting, cleaning your room, cleaning your closet, your car at the car wash, your car getting an oil change, whatever it is, write it all down. The first thing is it has to be a list. I'm with you, Corinda. All right. So write that list. I don't care if it's 3 things. I don't care if it's 10 things. I don't care if it's 30 things. It's January. We got all year to get this done. Give me some of that. And we're going to get this thing done together. Write it down and then make a plan. What day are you going to spend 15 minutes hitting which pieces at a time until you get it all done? That's our soul work. I'll go ahead and upload these onto our discussion post. And I'll upload the TikTok. No, I don't want to do it now because I'm going to save that for those who sign up for counseling. Because again, I don't want to overwhelm you now. If you examine these reasons, I'll think you see that they are exactly tics as described in the previous section. You can use a TikTok technique to deal with them. The second solution is to organize the task into small steps that all follow one other in logical sequence. I want you to break a task down into the smallest parts using the anti-procrastination info sheet. That one I will upload for you. I will upload the anti-procrastination sheet for you. First, think of something you've been procrastinating about. Then think of the separate steps that go into completing the task. List the small steps, number each one in the column, then predict how difficult and satisfying it's going to be for you. For example, suppose that Michael has decided to clean out the garage. He might list the following steps. Go into the garage and look around. You got to analyze the land, survey the land. Number 2, purchase or locate some trash bags. Number 3, load several bags with trash. 4th, repeat steps 3 several times. Go into the garage, survey the land, the closet, the bedroom, the bathroom, whatever it is. Number 2, purchase or locate trash bags. Number 3, load several bags with trash. Repeat steps 1 through 3 several times. Once you have surveyed the land, located the trash bags, loaded the trash bags, we'll move on to step 5. Organize the things you need to keep. Sweep the floor. After you completed each step of the task, you can record how difficult or how satisfying it was for you. Pay attention to everything that is anti-procrastination when you do this assignment. I'm done. My time is done. I will upload that sheet to you. Thank you, Chevelle. The anti-procrastination sheet. I will upload it as soon as I'm off here tonight, as I'm uploading the podcast. And I would like to see it. If you're willing to share it with me, I would love for you to take a picture from your phone and just upload it to my email, which is info, INFO, at SuzanneMHoward.com, or you can just go to the website. If you're looking for any information, it's all on the website. Emails, contact information, it's all on the website, which is SuzanneMHoward.com. Thank you very much as well. Suzette Cole, God bless you. Thank you, Nicole, Delia, Tasha Ross, God bless you all. Thank you as well. I'll upload the form, and I'd love to see pictures of what your anti-procrastination form looks like, especially if you're going to stick with us. It would be good to capture that moment now to make sure we keep you accountable to that list. All right. God bless you. I appreciate your time. I love you very much. 10 days to go. Oh my God. All right. Come on, let's prophesy to one another according to 3 John and 1. I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you. Good night. Please hit like and share. Hit like, hit like, hit like. I need the likes. Hit like and share. God bless you. Good night. Let it let it